Hello, it's me again for my birthday updated video for August 5th, 2021. This is part 10 of my birthday update. And now we go from the previous video that I did with the other formats with the movies on DVD, Betamax, and Laserdisc. Now we're in the category called records, books, and audio cassettes category. And some of them are, a lot of them in vinyl, some of them without the vinyls. Let's start with this, with one of the children's records. Now here is the little short record for children on the Goodship Lollipop with orchestras and chorus. They named it after, these songs were named after the Shirley Temple movies. And this was released in 1966 from Wonderland Records. Good old little Shirley, God bless her. It has on the Goodship Lollipop, Animal Crackers, When I Grow Up. And then it has Early Bird at the Codfish Ball and Polly Water Doodle. These were the songs were taken from the Shirley Temple films in the 1930s at Fox. Now here's Frosty the Snowman, also from Wonderland Records. And yep. And this Wonderland record came out in the year of, gotta be 1966. But this is the reissued in probably in 1976, when it was from A&A Wonderland Records Incorporated. You see, I like these records, and they're hard to find. Now here's a pretty rare Disney record of the song for Mary Poppins. It was Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, also Step in Time. This record came out back in 1964, the time when Mary Poppins was released in theaters. It's only 29 cents. And this is back in the days when they had like these little Jim records, probably from the Disneyland Records. There it is. This is what the label looks like. Some of them I bought from eBay, some of them I got it from the thrift store or flea market. Now let's begin with some Disney read-along books and records collection I just got on my birthday. And this is the 1977 reissue of Mary Poppins. Originally it came out back in the 60s. However, this is the 1977 reissue. At the time, it was released with audio cassettes. In those days it was called a Disney Storyteller series. Yep. Featuring some good songs, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and a spoon, and a spoonful of sugar in there. And I know this is a reissued in 1977. Now here's another one, Three Little Pigs. Published, it was reissued in 1978. At the time, it was marked the 45th anniversary of the Three Little Pigs. It was a 1933 Silly Symphony cartoon. That was in 1933. Featuring the song called Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf. And the Three Little Pigs won an Academy Award for Best Cartoon Short Subject of 1933. Now here's a read-along book release of Peter Pan that was reissued in 1977, narrated by Laurie Main, the one who was narrator of the Winnie the Pooh read-alongs and hosting of the Welcome to Pooh Corner. Featuring some good songs, You Can Fly, You Can Fly, You Can Fly, and Follow the Leader. This is pretty rare. Now here's Cinderella, a 1977 reissue, and these illustrations were from probably in the 1950s or 60s, made by the Golden Book industry. One of the good songs in Cinderella read-along is A Dream is a Wish and Bibbidi Boppity Blue Body, a Fairy Godmother. And here's one of the Walt's animated movies that started it all, the 1937 Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is the 1977 reissue. At the time, Snow White was marked at the 40th anniversary in 1977. Yep, good old Adriana Castellati, the one she plays Snow White. And she's one of my favorite Disney princesses, and I like the Drarfs when they sing hi ho, off the work we go. One of the Drarfs voices I liked was played by Billy Gilbert as the voice of Sneezy. I know it has some good songs in there like Hi Ho and Whistle While You Work. Walt Disney was a genius. That was before Pinocchio was released in theaters in 1940. Now here's Mother Goose Rhymes, song by Sterling Holloway. Originally this came out during the late 40s and the early 1950s. And this is the 1979 release of Mother Goose Rhymes, narrated by Hal Smith, a cartoon voice actor. And he was the drunk on the Andy Griffith Show. And also has some good songs like Mary Had a Little Lamb, Old King Cole, and Peter Piper. Now here's Dumbo. It was reissued in 1977, narrated by Paul Frees or Robert Holt. This illustration came out back in the 60s, but this was reissued in 1977. Do you ever see an elephant fly? Featuring the songs Casey Jr. and When I See an Elephant Fly, song by the five black crows, talks like black men, and they're kind of racist. Now here's the Wizard of Oz read-along. It was originally came out in 1969. This is not the Judy Garland version. This is the Disney version of the Wizard of Oz. Originally came out in 1969, but this is the 1977 reissue, told by Hal Smith. And has Somewhere Over the Rainbow and Follow the Yellow Brick Road. This got to be 1978 reissue. Here's a band Disney read-along, Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby. It was reissued in 1977. It was like 31st anniversary when Song of the South was released in theaters. And that was the only Disney movie as a band from the United States because of the racial thing of Uncle Remus. It has some good songs like How Do You Do and Zippity Doo Dah. This is the 1977 reissue. And now we got Winnie the Pooh and the Tigger 2, based on the book by A.A. Mills. Mills, something like that. And this is the 1977 reissue. It was originally published in 1974. This was reissued in 1977. And it has the Winnie the Pooh theme song and the wonderful thing about Tiggers. Dragon Slayer, they don't have that in one of the Disney read-alongs. And there's a Disney read-along, but it's not made from Disney, made by Rack&Bess of The Hobbit. It was made in 1977. I have it on VHS. It was released in Sony in 1983. This was narrated by Paul Frees. And this animation, too bad they didn't have it in the Buena Vista read-along adventures back then. The read-along adventures didn't come out till 1980 for the Star Wars read-alongs. And it has some good songs in there like Misty Mountain Cold, and the other one is The Greatest Adventure. Rack&Bess is the one who created Frosty the Snowman during the 60s. And now, here's the live-action with animation of Pete's Dragon that was released in 1977 in theaters. I showed you that on VHS on my other part of my birthday update. This is the 1977 release of this Disney read-along at the same time when The Rescue was came out in the Disneyland read-along books and records, and Disney Storyteller series is just the starting. The illustration was not compared to the live-action version. Featuring some good songs like Boob, 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 Bop, Boob, I Love You Too, I Saw a Dragon, performed by Mickey Rooney. Too bad didn't have Jim Dale and Red Buttons in it, in this version, but in the film version they have. I even have the read-along book album of it, that I got it from the flea market in New York. Here's the Golden Book and Disney read-along of the 12 Days of Christmas, told by Paul Frees. It was released in 1976. It was originally came out back in 73 of this story. Featuring some good songs in there, like the Christmas songs like 12 Days of Christmas. Now we got something that's a gold mine of the Disney read-alongs. It is not a Disney read-along, but it's part of the Buena Vista read-along series of, like, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That was released in 1984, the same time when it was out in theaters. It was a sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I have Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade read-along book and tape. That was when, at the time, when Disney stopped making vinyl records at the time, in the late 80s. I even have Gremlins and one of the Star Wars stories in this series. Now here's the Get Along Gang, called The Get Along Gang and the Missing Caboose. That was released in 1984 when the Get Along Gang was so popular at the time. The Montgomery Moose, yep. The Get Along Gang was based on like the Little Rascals angle from the 1930s. God, these read-alongs are certainly hard to find. And this is the Buena Vista Records logo. That was in the 80s. I think it was in the 60s. Now we got here a Disney's Wuzzles, like the Hippopotamus Goes to Hollywood's, known as like Hollywood. This was released in 1985. That was when Wuzzles at the time was one of the Saturday morning cartoons in the 1980s. Same time when the Gumby Bears came out. And they don't have no songs in there, but too bad this is not the Disney Discovery series. Now here's a Sesame Street read-along. It's called Big Bird Follows the Signs. It was released in 1981. Carol Spanning was the original Big Bird voice from 1969 till he retired in 2018. Yep. God, these Sesame Street books are hard to find. Now here's Pac-Man's Picnic. It's a kid's stuff read-along release. That was released in It was released in 1980, when that was at the time when Pac-Man was so popular from the video arcade. Even Hanna-Barbera created Pac-Man during the 1980s, early 80s, when the Smurfs were popular at the time. I even have one of the G.I. Joe read-alongs. Maybe that was released in kids stuff during the 1980s. Now here's the read-along books without tapes or without records. Let's start with the Walt Disney Read-Along Educational Edition of the Little House, which was released in 1970. This is based on the 1952 cartoon short that was told by Sterling Holloway. Back then, they didn't have Disney storytellers, not until 1977. Now here's the Pinocchio read-along, but there was only two versions of Pinocchio. First, it was like published from the Golden Book illustration, and then it had to redo this in 1977. I think in 78. Told by Hal Smith, but I don't have an audio tape. This was shown in the Video Longs VHS of Pinocchio in the Disney Classics in 1986. Look at the illustrations, originally published in 77 or 78. And I might sell this right on eBay. Now here's the Jungle Book. It was a 1977 read-along. However, this is the 1987 reissue of the Jungle Book. King Louie, I do like Baloo the Bare necessities. This is the 1987 reissue. Now here's Peter Pan. It was I think I showed you Peter Pan on the vinyl earlier, and this is the 1977 reissue. You can fly, you can fly, you can fly. I might keep that. Now here's just a Small World book. This is the 1977 reissue. Originally came out back in the late 1960s. However, and I know it was narrated by Linda Gary, cartoon voice actress, the one she did Keeler from the He-Man cartoons. And this is the 1987 reprint, 87 reissue of It's a Small World. It's a small world after all. Yeah. And now we got 101 Dalmatians. It was originally reissued in 1982. Then this is the 1987 reissue. Cruella de Vil. There was like this past year they released the movie of Cruella that was a PG-13 Disney film. Everybody maybe went to see it, or some people has like in screening nowadays. The 101 Dalmatians read-along was also in the Video Longs VHS of the Disney Classics. Here's the Disney live action of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids read-along. This was the 1989 release, starring with Rick Moranis. At the time he did Ghostbusters 2. He was so successful in the original Ghostbusters, Little Shop of Horrors, and Spaceballs, and My Blue Heaven. I wish I had an audio tape of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids read-along. Too bad they didn't put that in the Buena Vista read-alongs, like as compared to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And there was like another films of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like Honey, I Blew Up the Kid in 1992 and Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, made for home video in 1997. Now here's not a Disney read-along, but a Disney songbook of the Best of Disney Volume 2. This was released in 1977. However, this is the 1985 reissue from the Fisher-Price. Has some good songs like When You Wish Upon a Star from Pinocchio, Little April Showers from Bambi, Someone's Waiting for You from The Rescues. That won an Academy Award for it. Lavender Blue, song by Burl Ives in So Dear to My Heart. The Wonderful Thing About Tigers in the Winnie the Pooh and the Tigger 2. Yeah. This looks brand new. You can see this in New York. Now here's a couple of the Dick Tracy read-alongs. Like episode 1, like Big Boy Turns Up the Heat. And this is the 1990 release. At the time when Disneyland Records was changed to Disney Audio Entertainment. Narrated by William Woodson, the one who narrates some Disney Discovery Series read-alongs during the 80s. That was at the time when Touchstone released of Dick Tracy with Wharton Bailey. In 1990 with Al Pacino was in it, and Madonna. And I like the Dick Tracy cartoons when they're so racist. Like Go Go Gomez, Hippo Cowrie, Jiu-Jitsu, and Hemlock Holmes. This is the 1990 release. And now here's in episode 2, like Everything Comes Up Blank. Narrated by William Woodson. Yep. Dick Tracy was a good comic character. It was considered to be like the Batman angle. Now here's the 1984 Disney read-along, non-Disney read-along. It's part of the Buena Vista read-alongs like Rainbow Bright and the Brook Meadow Deer, a 1984 read-along. I know it was narrated by Linda Gary. That was when Rainbow Bright was popular during the 1980s. Like, it was made by Hallmark, and by 1985 was the one and only Rainbow Bright feature. It was released in theaters called Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer. During that time when Rainbow Bright was popular, they released one of her episodes on VHS tapes and beta from Children's Video Library, which has been distributed by Vestron Video. Now here's like the kid stuff read-along release of The Care Bears, The Mystery of the Missing Dreams. That was released in 1986. I thought it was in 83. 86, yep. That's when I had the Care Bears cousins at the time. And I love those Care Bears. I think it looks like a Cloud Keeper. Long as it's not Professor Coldheart. Now here's a Sesame Street read-along book called Anybody Can Play, told by Big Bird by Carol Spanning. Published in 1981. There's Bert and Ernie Has Something to Do. Hey Barkley. Frank Oz provides the voice of Bert, and Jim Henson does the voice of Ernie. And now we only got a couple of more things before we end this video. Here's the audio cassette of the Muppet songs. The favorite songs from the Jim Henson's Muppets. This was released in 1986. Featuring one of the good songs on this tape, that is, It's Not Easy Being Green, Working, Happiness Hotel from the Great Muppet Caper, Good Things Happen in the Dark, Catch the Trail of a Tiger, Grandma's Featherbed, My Way. That was released from Magic Video Publishing in St. Louis. Side 2 has Muppet Babies theme, Dream for Your Expression, Rubber Ducky, that's Ernie's song from Sesame Street, When the River Meets the Sea, Tidwiddle, Coconuts, that had that on the Muppet Show, Java, The First Time It Happened from the Great Muppet Caper, and that won an Academy Award for it in 1981. The same Great Muppet Caper has Charles Grodin in there. And you know Charles Grodin died this year at 86. Now here's the RCA desktop tape recorder. I love one of those tape recorders like that. I think it takes the AA batteries. Eventually I'll be using this when I go on the trip. Yep. That includes the 10th part of my birthday updated video for August 5th, 2021. We'll see you next time for the finale of my birthday update. Until then, stay safe and try to subscribe for all the videos I made. Take care and enjoy. Bye.